Hey Forrest, I own a small coaching business and could really use some help here. We've got some leads slipping through the cracks left and right, and we're a small team. We need to make every minute and interaction count. Can automation help with this? I don't even know where to start.
This is a really good question. One of the things that keeps most sales managers and owners up at night is just qualified leads that are slipping through the cracks. And so there's a couple different ways to look at this, but really the first thing you have to do is a little bit of homework. You have to identify where are points in your process that leads might be slipping through the cracks. Where are things where your reps could be missing things. And then we can use Close to filter down and make sure that you have some red flag views so that you can see very quickly when leads are slipping through the cracks, when you need to point your team in the right direction, and when you need to give them a little coaching. So I'm going to show you a few examples of how we can do that in Close. And so I'm going to put the phone down and we're going to get to work. The first thing you really want to identify is where might leads be slipping through the cracks. I think there's a couple areas that this might happen. The first area is opportunities, right? If you've followed the other videos, we've built some systems in place where new leads should be taken care of and they should be called on a regular basis. But where things often slip through the cracks is opportunities, because this becomes a place where your team has to manage what's happening. And your team is in charge of if an opportunity is moving forward or not. And this is where money's on the table and they've got to kind of push things along. So what I typically want to look at is I look at leads and I come and I build a few red flag smart views. My recommendation most of the time is have a manager or you look at these red flag smart views every now and again. It's a good way to Slack or message your team and say, hey, what's up with this account? But one example of that is opportunities. So I would look at opportunities and say, hey, show me there are leads where there is an active opportunity. So there is an active opportunity present. And then we can add another filter that shows meetings. So if there's an upcoming meeting, that means that they're on it, they're all over it. We don't have to worry about it. So show me the ones where there's an active opportunity and no upcoming meeting. And then I add a filter here for communication. So communication is going to look at calls, it's going to look at SMS, and it's going to look at email. So this is something that helps us identify, because we track all of these things. The latest communication or the last communication is the last time we've talked to them or heard from them. And so if I say date is not within, this means we haven't communicated with them in a certain time frame. Now, depending on your sales cycle and how long things should be taking, you can put in a custom time here. But usually for me, I'd put in something like, hey, if we haven't talked to them in 3 days, we don't have an upcoming meeting, like what are we doing? This is becoming a red flag. I would also add, sometimes does my rep have a task? So number of incomplete tasks is none. And this would show me a list of, okay, we've got an active opportunity, we do not have an upcoming meeting, and we haven't communicated with them in the last 3 days. And so this view would show us that we have an active opportunity, we haven't reached out to these folks in the past 3 days, and we don't have anything upcoming with them. So this is basically just an opportunity that we're letting be squandered away. This is where I save this. I'll come in and add a red flag symbol for me, and I'll say opportunities. This is really easy to then go and look at. You can even add, if you want, who's the lead owner or the setter or whatever fields you want to have in here. And I save it as a red flag opportunity. And this is something as a sales manager that I would check every day. You can come in here and just say, okay, what's going on with this? How come we haven't done anything with this? And we can very easily be in charge of it. The other place that things kind of go to die sometimes is no-shows. And so I have a no-show opportunity here, but this is kind of taking care of that a little bit too, to show, okay, hey, we've got these opportunities that aren't being touched. Even if they're no-shows, we should be reaching out to them to re-engage. So this is a really good simple smart view. And then I would build a couple smart views like this, right? We've got add filter, leads. So I could say, hey, the current status is reaching out. We haven't communicated, is not within the last 30 days. And we could add another filter here too, right? This is less likely to happen that you haven't communicated and you've got a meeting, but number of upcoming meetings is none. Number of incomplete tasks is none. And this is a really good way to find some leads. Oftentimes these leads are going to be leads that maybe you want to nurture or do something with if you've already reached out a bunch, or if they are high quality leads, then you really want to make sure that you are reaching out to them immediately. And then oftentimes you want to look at something like custom activities and disqualified. Disqualification is not present. So these are leads that are red flag again. So I'd save as red flagged. Leads need contact. And so the biggest thing that you can do right now is go into your system and really think about your process top to bottom and think about where are places where a rep might miss something, where they don't have a smart view built to show them something, or they have to kind of manually follow up on it like an opportunity. And if there's any place like that where they might actually miss an action, the best thing you can do is create one of these red flag smart views so that you can see it anytime you need to. If it's something like this, it's easy to check once a day. It's easy to pass it along to your reps. It's easy to stay on top of. If it's something that you feel like is a little bit more critical and really, really urgent, it's possible to create a Zapier setup where this sends a message to Slack or a notification to Slack or something like that if someone enters this smart view. So that's just a different way to look at it. But I hope this helps. As always, let us know if you have any questions.